Hello, my name's Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com, and that was a bad show. As you probably know, we try to celebrate professional wrestling here at Cultaholic.com, but there is little to celebrate about that pay-per-view. Let's take a look at what happened at Backlash 2018. So we kick things off on a very strong point. The Intercontinental title was on the line, the champion Seth Rollins taking on The Miz, and what a fantastic match. Real back and forth action here. There was some terrific sequences. One that sticks out in my mind was the figure four, which Seth then reversed the pressure, and then it led to a skull-crushing finale, and I thought Miz had it. He didn't. Minutes later, Seth hits a superplex. Miz rolls again, picks him up, skull-crushing finale again. I thought this time, he's definitely got it. Seth kicks out again. This is, as I say, real back and forth, on the edge of your seat action. The match ended after Rollins finally hits the curb stomp. The Miz looking really strong in defeat. I think it's fair to say that this is a match that didn't make that much sense. I mean, you've got both mid-card titles being defended on the show. Of course, later in the night we would have the US title, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. They're both on SmackDown. And then you've got Seth Rollins versus The Miz. The Miz is now on SmackDown. Seth Rollins is on Raw. It's unlikely that they would put both mid-card titles on one brand. So I think we all suspected that Seth would win this one. So at the beginning, I wasn't the most invested. I love Seth Rollins. I love The Miz. But yeah, I didn't think that this was going to be match of the night, as it turned out to be. Yeah, by the end of it, wow, what a performance from both these guys. Seth, one of the best as far as in-ring action goes. Miz, one of the best characters in WWE, not just now, but for the past few years now. Tremendous match to kick things off. And then, whoo, that's my slide whistle noise. Backlash 2018 got bad. Next up, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. It was just not a very good match, to be honest. I don't know what I can say about this. There was some really crappy clotheslines, some fairly sloppy in-ring work, primarily from Nia, who I'm not sure is... I like Nia. I really like Nia, but I don't think she's that strong in the ring. It just wasn't a great match. At one point, Nia was laid out on the outside of the ring. Alexa's out there too. She tries to pick Nia up. She couldn't pick her up. So she rolls back in the ring. And it looked like she was going to restart the count by rolling back out. The ref is up to like 6 or 7 by this point. But she didn't. She stayed in the ring, and then the ref restarted the count anyway. What? If you really believe in Nia, just have her squash Alexa here. It was a similar match to the WrestleMania 34 match. And it's as if WWE management don't believe in Nia as a performer. It's like they think that she can't get over as a monster babyface. But we've seen that. We've seen that with Braun Strowman. Have her squash opponent after opponent after opponent on Monday Night Raw and actually build that character. She won the match with a Samoan drop. And then after the match, which wasn't good, as I say, we got something that I think reinforced my belief that WWE management aren't invested in Nia properly. She cut this long, awkward, tedious promo, which wasn't really a promo for Nia, it was a promo for the Be A Star program. It was just more marketing, more spiel, crap. Next up, Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy for the US title. Rest holds, ahoy. Randy Orton, a nice way of describing him is that he's got this slow, this methodical, this well thought out pace. But actually, when the announcers say things like that, they're actually, they're covering for the fact that the guy has become very lazy and very boring to watch. And this has been happening for a long time. I mean, in some ways, it's not necessarily a bad thing. He's a very safe pair of hands. You know what you're getting with Randy. But he's just not exciting to watch anymore. And this match was average at best. This was made even more frustrating by the fact that he was in there with Jeff Hardy, a guy that still really does try. Jeff puts in the effort all the time. His in-ring style is still far more exciting than Orton's, and he still pulls it off tremendously well. it was just a non-match. It was a complete non-match. At least Jeff won, I guess. We then had, I think, the second highlight of the night. It was Elias, followed by New Day, followed by Rusev Day, followed by No Way Jose, followed by Bobby Roode in... I'm not sure if it was a segment or a hallucination as a result of the bath salts I've been taking for several years, but I really loved it. I would have happily watched this for 2.5 more hours rather than what I did have to experience. Next up was Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan, and if there's one guy who is going to make his opponent look good, it's Daniel Bryan, and he did a really good job of doing so here. Big Cass ate the loss. He actually tapped out clean, which is the right result, a surprising result. I wasn't expecting to see Cass tap, but I'm glad he did. And yeah, it was a fine match. There's a big part of me that thinks that putting Daniel Bryan in a feud with a less capable star like Big Cass has dampened some of that excitement which was still there following his return. You know, there are so many dream matches that we'd love to see with Bryan. You've got Shinsuke Nakamura, you've got AJ Styles on a grander stage, you've got The Miz, obviously, but if you're able to use some of the momentum from Daniel Bryan returning to elevate new stars, that's a good thing. I'm not convinced by Cass. I know there are a lot of people who also aren't convinced by Cass, but Cass actually came out of this one looking good, and most of that is because of the post-match beatdown. So yeah, after the match, Cass beat down Bryan in a vicious way, and the match's purpose, as I say, it was served. It was absolutely served. Daniel Bryan out-wrestled Cass, as he should, and Big Cass looked like a complete and utter dick by taking out Daniel Bryan, getting his heat back in the process. Next up was SmackDown Women's Champion Carmella taking on Charlotte Flair. And for me, this match was all about Carmella proving that she could hang with the big dogs, not that one, but hang with the bigger, more experienced wrestlers in the ring. And I'm not sure she's there yet, but on a plus, from a character standpoint, she is absolutely there. Carmella's character for me is the right side of annoying. She is trash talking, she's screeching, she's throwing tantrums, she is abhorrent, she's just absolutely dreadful and fantastic in that way. The finish for me is the thing that didn't really make sense. I guess the result as well, but the finish, so Charlotte went for a moonsault, missed, and then Carmella kicks out the knee and pins Charlotte clean. This is a month on, almost to the day, that Charlotte defeated Asuka at WrestleMania 34, ending the streak. And then you've got her being out-wrestled by Carmella, who is clearly, even to the most casual fan, less capable in the ring than Charlotte. She was outsmarted. It's madness. It really is madness. It's really frustrating because you've got this thing which was incredibly marketable in Asuka's streak. And I wasn't overly disappointed when it ended because I thought it was going to Charlotte, who is, for my money, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. She loses the title, right? And that's fine as well. It was a cash-in. But then for Carmella to beat her here, without the help of the Iconics, which what I thought was going to happen, it's perplexing. It's utterly perplexing, and it just sucks. It just sucks. It was once again, it was a fine match. I keep saying that. It was fine. It was all right. Just a weird result, and one that doesn't sit right with me. We then had, for the WWE title, champion AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and like their match at the Greatest Royal Rumble, this is one that never really got going. We learned that AJ is possibly the biggest kayfabe idiot in the world after being hit in the cock countless times in recent weeks. He still didn't wear a cup. I just wish the flat earth thing was kayfabe too. Anyway, we've got two of the best wrestlers in the world today, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the biggest pop in the match comes after 2 consecutive low blows. There's something not right with the booking here. The finish came when both men, inadvertently this time I think, kicked each other in the bollocks again. They both collapsed to the floor, and in the no DQ match, they were counted down. They couldn't return to their feet, so the match was thrown out. It was a no contest with of course AJ retaining the title. How have they managed to ruin a feud with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura with this nonsense? This utter nonsense. I was amused at first, but this is getting ridiculous. And you know what, if the feud is going to continue, the worst thing is I'm not even going to be excited about seeing Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, which is baffling. Absolutely baffling. Again, match didn't really pick up. It was just another match. Just another match. We all thought after the underwhelming WrestleMania 34 match, the underwhelming Greatest Royal Rumble match, we were going to see something special here. This is where they were going to pull it out of the bag. Just didn't happen. Didn't happen. What a night. We then had Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman teaming up for some reason to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was a match that didn't really make much sense. It didn't really mean anything at all. It felt like a way to get the recently returning Bobby Lashley and I guess also Braun Strowman onto a pay-per-view. It was thrown together and once again the match was fine. Fine to okay. Mediocre. The ending was confusing with lots and lots of bickering going on, which led to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' demise. So to finish, Lashley hits the delayed vertical suplex, which is a really, really impressive move, but to me, doesn't feel like a finisher. It feels more like a signature move, right? Because if you're going to hit your finisher, you kind of want to do it as quick as possible. Think about all the great finishers. They're like bang, bang, stunner, spear, bloody super kick, whatever, right? Instead, you're posing for ages. We know how strong you are, Bobby. That's just a weird finisher, but whatever. Following the match, after Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman's win, Braun Strowman scooped up Kevin Owens and hit him with a running power slam. He then got Sami Zayn in the ring and running power slam there as well. That felt weird because like they're the face team. They've just won. They've just defeated those guys. So why do that? The commentary sort of sold it like a heel turn. I'm not sure if it was. I have no idea. You shouldn't turn Braun heel, obviously, because he's like one of the most over things going. That's nuts. Maybe we're going to see the continuation of Bobby and Braun teaming. I'm not anti that necessarily, but I would say that Braun is a far more interesting character out of those two guys. I'm trying to find a positive here, and I think that positive might be that we get to see a heel Sami Zayn versus a face Kevin Owens. Maybe. If those two have officially split tonight, we might see that. And that's something which is intriguing because we've not seen it. So maybe. Trying to find a positive here. It's been a long night. Finally, a match for nothing, but it features the big dog. It was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. And when I made my predictions for this match, I remember saying to Ross, I think this is going to be match of the night. Because it should be. There should have been huge, huge moments, really memorable moments in this one. And once again, it was okay at best. I never thought that I would hear during this match Rusev Day chants, delete chants, this is boring chants. The match did get off to a hot start with Joe pulling Roman out of the ring and hitting a massive Uranagi through the announce table, but then it all went downhill from there. There was a rest hold that probably lasted like 4 minutes. It just wasn't entertaining to watch at all. And I think that's the thing. This isn't down to Joe, and as much as a lot of people would like to think, it's probably not down to Roman either. I thought these two would be given the creative freedom to impress here, and that clearly didn't happen. So Roman wins after a few spears, and it was, I guess, to be expected. Roman needed, perhaps, a win after a few very high-profile losses in recent months. I think most of us were expecting that. It's not even necessarily a terrible, terrible thing. You know, it took, I think, 3 spears to put Samoa Joe away. He didn't look weak, but it's still after an evening of crap. It left a sour taste in the mouth. Before I go, I want to reiterate something. We here at Cultaholic try to be positive about professional wrestling. We want to show our passion for professional wrestling because we love it, but there's no point in trying to sugarcoat this. Backlash 2018 was a bad show. It was a bad show. Props to Seth Rollins. Props to The Miz. One of the best openers in recent memory. It was so good. And then it all just went downhill. A night full of matches that were okay at best, but often not even okay. There's no point getting overly upset and saying this is the worst pay-per-view ever, because it's not. It's really not. But confusing booking decisions combined with underwhelming matches will make this the worst pay-per-view of 2018. At least I hope so. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.